Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
CDC is updating our guidance for fully vaccinated people. Anyone who is fully vaccinated can participate in indoor and outdoor activities, large or small, without wearing a mask or physical distancing. If you are fully vaccinated, you can start doing the things that you had stopped doing because of the pandemic.
What? Yep. There you go. So if you're fully vaccinated, you can do what you've probably already been doing, which is living your life. The difference is you do it in places without a mask and without causing an argument. That's kind of what this is about. This is essentially a way to shut the Karens up. You're not wearing a mask. You should be wearing a mask. You killed my grandparents. I did? I don't know you. Yeah, so that's what this is. Doesn't mean overnight it's going to change things. Here where I am, so I give you guys, if you're new to the show, moved out here from Los Angeles, out here to Phoenix. I do a local show here as well as this show, the national show, and they're kind enough to let me use their offices here because I live in so far away from there. So I've got this great studio, but I'm kind of, in a weird way, I'm not an employee, but I work with them, and I follow all the rules here, as I would, because I'm not a Richard. But yesterday, when this thing came down, people were like, yeah. And by the way, everybody in our office is vaccinated minus 2 or 3 people. One, I think, is for a religious reason, and the other one just had COVID like a month and a half ago and cannot take this for, I don't know, I think it's like 90 or 120 days. So you can't even get a vaccine. And within moments, we had an email. Keep everything the same. Keep wearing masks. And I'm like, because the mask thing, let's be real, has been the biggest pain in the ass for everybody. The mask thing has been the thing that has driven everyone crazy. We're at a point now with this coronavirus where it's not going anywhere. So let's understand that. Herd immunity is not eliminating it. It's getting it to the point where we're going to be really not affected by it on a day-to-day basis. I don't wear my mask most places now. I just don't. And I think most people are getting there. The other night I went to a store where it was kind of optional. And I didn't wear my mask. I want to see what happened. I got inside, and the majority of people in there also weren't wearing their mask. I think it was refreshing because it feels like, okay, this is another one of those psychological check marks. Boom. But it doesn't mean some places are going to allow you to not wear masks. They still want you to wear it in places like on an airplane. So if you're on an airplane, they want you to wear it, which is one of the reasons I refuse to fly. I don't want any part of that for 4 blanking hours. But I think this is a good step, and this is a step that's going to help people mentally. And I don't think people really understand the mental impact when it comes to things like a mask. 2 years ago, when you saw somebody with a mask, people would look and they would think that person probably has cancer. Or, this went through a bone marrow transplant, some of those kind of things. Now it's everywhere, and we don't have that. And we don't want to get back to the point where we're like, oh, that person has cancer. But what we want to get back to is the psychological aspect of saying to ourselves, it's okay to live. It's okay to get out there. Let's get back to it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Businesses, though, that's going to be the tricky one because, we're in a CYA world. And the CYA world is you protect yourself, meaning your money, your livelihood, your business, because we live in a world where you can sue for anything all the time. Anything all the time. And that's not, And it's tough. This is one of those things. Like, how would you know? So say producer Phil and producer Phil, let's say he gets sick and he says, I'm going to blame it on work. But how would I know he got it from here? How could you prove that? Well, in this day and age, we all know that it's not even about that. It's about just saying, hey, there's enough of a reasonable chance that maybe he did or didn't. So people end up having to pay out the tooth and nail. That's why the Republicans fought hard, not hard enough, to try to get waivers for businesses to say, look, if you get sick, it's not our fault. But even Fauci's like, if you're vaccinated, you should be allowed to shop without your mask. What?
Grocery stores, pharmacies, whatever, should allow vaccinated people to come in and shop without masks.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, that's really the whole point that we're talking about, that vaccinated people. If you look at the data, and, people have asked the CDC, well, what's changed? Why the change in the recommendations? Clearly, the infections are going down.
And I'll tell you the other reason there's a change. They got blasted by the New York Times. They got blasted by the New York Times for their exaggerations. They got blasted by the New York Times for saying things and finding something that was, hey, here's a report, and it backs more mask wearing. It backs further social distancing. Then you find out that study report was 16 months old and ended up not being what they thought it was going to be. And when the New York Times blasted them, and I find this ironic, they blasted them, I think it was Tuesday, Wednesday, the article came out. By Thursday, they had changed stuff. And the other thing is, we have a lot of vaccines, and we've kind of hit that plateau of really not getting more people vaccinated, and they want that. So the kids, as of yesterday, 12 to 15 can get vaccinated. They still want to try to get vaccines in arms of adults who won't. So now the thought process is, well, you know what? We'll tell people if you're vaccinated, you can do anything you want, basically. If you're not vaccinated, what? You're not going to tell them. First of all, how do you know if somebody's vaccinated? How would you know? You don't have, your arm didn't turn purple, right? There's not some special shirt you have to wear. So how would you know? You wouldn't. You're going to take people's word for it. So that's the other side of this. There's a lot to it, but this is the right thing to do. I think a lot of people realize this is the right thing to do. Thank God. And the other thing is, we can take a deep breath, and maybe that thing that became a symbol in a battle, which was the mask, and became political, won't keep us fighting anymore.
We've just been through a crazy 2 years. I mean, crazy at so many levels. The fact that we all had to go around with our faces covered. But I am hopeful that with people taking their masks off, we can talk to each other in different ways, look each other in the eye, see each other smile, a wry grin, whatever, that too will reduce the temperature in the country, the political temperature.
Thomas Friedman there. On the other side of stuff, the liberals are upset about this. Some of them are. It's a very interesting, and we're going to talk about that. And the thing that we've talked about over the last several days is that for whatever reason, progressives and really progressives, uber liberal, not Democrats, but uber liberal progressives want to see this thing continue on. Caution can't be cautious enough. And it's very interesting the way that they do that. And I hearken back to that article in The Atlantic. Again, The Atlantic is not a very conservative publication. But when they're talking to people, progressives just want to see this thing continue to go on. And it's a very weird thing. I don't know about you, but man, you may be liberal, but do you really want to wear a mask? I don't. And it sucks for me because it's 102 degrees outside and I got a mask on and I have a beard and I have glasses and they fog up. It sucks. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. We're talking about jobs. You believe companies are doing, it's crazy what they're trying to do to get people to just come in for an interview, raising their wages higher, doing anything to get people to come in. And I keep imploring people. Yesterday here, Doug Ducey, the governor, he decided, hey, we're taking away your federal benefits as of July 10th. So you won't get those anymore. And they're going to go out through, or maybe it was June 10th. No, July 10th. Then they're going to go out through September. But then he said, but if you take a job and it's full time, you'll get a $2,000 bonus. So we're paying people to get jobs. Sometimes tough love needs to happen. Sometimes you need to pull back and say you have to stand on your own feet now. You do. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Your Twitter, tweet, text, love hearing from you. Omaha Steaks. Let's Go Grill. Incredible. So the Let's Go Grill package comes with 4 fillets that are just incredible. 4 giant chicken breasts. Amazing. Pork chops. Lots of those. Kielbasa. Tartlets. Yeah. Caramel apple tartlets. Yeah. Potatoes. Seasoning. And burgers. They're throwing in extra burgers at Omaha Steak. 5 pounds of extra burgers. And they're delicious. The Let's Go Grill package is amazing. So what I want you to do is you go to omahasteaks.com. You're going to get all of these things, and they're going to throw those extra burgers in. That's a $44 value free. And they're going to give you $20 off when you check out. So you go to omahasteaks.com. You type in keyword Chad at the search bar, and up will pop this deal. You got to take advantage of it. If you like grilling, I have 2 kielbasas left and a couple burgers. Those will be gone this weekend. I've gone through this on my own, essentially. You have no idea how amazing these things are. And I've grilled in different ways because they get this great cookbook and the seasoning. It's delicious. Take advantage of all this. Get $20 off and 5 pounds or 12 amazing burgers free. The Let's Go Grill package. omahasteaks.com. omahasteaks.com. Keyword is Chad. Right there at the search bar. omahasteaks.com. Use the keyword Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Boys, give me a bowl of chili with plenty of peppers.
One Mexican heartburn. Why don't you mugs grow up?
The Chad Benson Show, where independent, a la carte thinkers have a seat at the table and a voice in the dialogue.
I'll have what she's having.
This is Chad Benson.
They're actually getting rather sophisticated, rather and figuring out who to target. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that who they target has the all of those vulnerabilities. So they're also opportunists, just kind of scanning the system to figure out who is the weakened defense that they can penetrate and just make a quick buck.
Yep. That's what they, being cyber hackers, do. They're sophisticated. But they're sophisticated in the things that they do where they can hack into stuff. Otherwise, in many cases, they're just throwing out a net. And that net is going out and throwing out this wide net, trying to get people, as many of the people they can, and go from there to see what they can get off of them. It's very interesting the way, because negotiating is a big deal. So if you've ever watched, there's tons of documentaries about people that get kidnapped in certain places, and some of it's political things. But a lot of times when certain executives and people get kidnapped, or Americans, they see in particular, oh, this person's an easy make. Everybody over there, right, in America has money. And then they'll ask for an absurd thing. We want $8 million. You're not going to get $8 million for, that person's worth $1 million at best. And then negotiation starts. Because they'll take anything. So supposedly they paid $5 million to the dark side to get the Colonial Pipeline back to a certain extent. And now you have to reconfigure stuff. You're going to see more and more of this. Today, apparently, the Irish health system has had that ransom attack. Boom. And people will say, well, why don't they just tell them no? You're not getting it. In some cases, that's easier. Hospitals, things of that nature, much tougher. Much tougher. Because when they take over the system, that messes with everything they have. Getting the patient's information, getting all of the things that they need. Some places, like here, we got cyber hacked, I want to say beginning of last year. And it was, for 2 or 3 days, it was really bad. For about 2 weeks, it was spotty at best. But they decided not to pay, and they reconfigured stuff. And some of the stuff, and they run things on 2 or 3 different things, so it wasn't, not everything was connected. So we were able to still do stuff on air and run certain things, but other stuff, no, the sellers, all these, they didn't have any control over things. It's going to continue to happen, and it's unfortunate that it does. And this won't be the first. I think it was like an 8-year-old like yesterday that got into the Coke facilities through a hack. I mean, that's insane. First of all, an 8-year-old that hacked. But secondly, I mean, these things are vulnerable. Because what we were protecting for over the last several years, or thought we were, things have changed. And as we all know, criminals stay one step ahead of the game. And they're looking for vulnerable, but they're also looking for easy. Vulnerable and easy. What do we think we can get into? And how easy is it going to be to get some money out of them? But not ask for too much. Because at some point you ask for so much, they're like, well, we don't care at this point. We're just going to build a whole new system. Might take weeks, but whatever. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Partisan companies. That's what we have. We have a divide in the things that we buy now based on who you support. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The CDC is saying that fully vaccinated people are at a very, very low risk of getting COVID-19. Therefore, if you are fully vaccinated, you no longer need to wear a mask. But if you've not been vaccinated, or if you're getting a 2-shot vaccine and you've not gotten you only had your first shot, but not your second, or you haven't waited the full 2 weeks after your second shot, you still need to wear a mask. Look, we've gotten this far. Please protect yourself until you get to the finish line.
Confusing you there, but not as confusing as it could be. I understood what he was saying. I speak Biden. I've been studying. Yeah, mask off. How cool is that? Well, except is your place allowing? Is that place? I don't wear my mask many places. I haven't, because I don't go many places. I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. I go very few places. But been very good. I socially distance by nature. It's kind of what I am. Social distancer by nature. But psychologically, this is a great step, getting people back out there. Some people are confused. They're not happy about it. And I just sit back and I'm like,
When you said we have all longed for this moment, like my heart leapt into my throat. It is such great news after all this time. And at the same time, I am very nervous. It is hard for me to imagine myself waltzing into the Stop and Shop tomorrow morning and not wearing a mask. I just feel like I'm not wired that way anymore. And it still feels risky. So how sure are you?
We're sure. There's an extraordinary amount of evidence now that demonstrates the vaccines are working in the real world. Go get vaccinated.
The progressives, the left. For whatever reason, they lean into this. Can you make it safer? What can you do to keep this going? I don't know if I can see myself without a mask. By the way, Rachel Maddow, you could still wear a mask tomorrow. Nobody's telling you. You have to come in face wide open and naked. You could wear a mask. What this really says to me is if the person next to you is not wearing a mask and you tell them they need to mask up, you need to shut up. Now, I'm not talking about Rachel. I'm just talking about anybody. Some businesses are going to do their own thing, which is totally fine. Maybe you don't have to wear a mask, but let's say you go to a restaurant, they may ask their staff to wear a mask. But I think for the most part, this is the way it's going to be. And we saw it last weekend in Texas. 74,000 people at the fight, the Canelo fight. 74,000 people in Jarrett's house. More and more places are opening up. The businesses, the retail side of it are going to be the last one that take that leap. And I think what you'll see a lot of them do is take the leap like optional. I've seen a lot of that around here, where it seems to be optional, where it'll say, mask up if you want to. Those kind of things. They're like, if you feel the need to. But now, and I've said this over the last several months, and I don't know about you, Phil, out there, but we've gotten to the place, especially the last 3 months, where even if you're wearing a mask, 99% of it's a chin diaper.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. It's a chin diaper. Oh, it's a chin diaper. Yeah. I just, it drives me crazy. It does. I'm just so over it. I think all of us are. I don't want to buy another mask. I don't want to look at a mask. Masks are for Halloween and robbing banks. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. I found this to be very, very interesting.
You don't really post things on social media. Twitter, I think the last time you posted something was 2012 or something.
Twitter is a bathroom wall.
I totally agree.
Why would I write all my thoughts on the bathroom wall?
Dave Chappelle. Twitter is a crazy thing. I've got Twitter, and it's part of the business of what we do, but it is chaos. And how many people get jobs off Twitter? Not many. How many people get fired or canceled off Twitter? A lot more. How many people, just through a joke without any context or nuance, end up getting in serious trouble? I still baffle at the thought of, hey, I've got something clever to say, and let me do this right now, just so the world can know what clever things. It's crazy. And we've gotten to the point now, which I think it makes it so we can't stand each other, to the point where we pick now even what we're buying. Even what we're buying, we pick based on political leanings. Older generation, not so much. The younger generation, absolutely. The new Harris poll that's out, the Axios Harris poll, favorable to unfavorable based on a lot of things, but a lot of it has to do with the political leanings of the companies. And Americans are leaning into companies that have strong political positions. Patagonia is the highest ranked one. They make clothes. SpaceX is number 5. Chick-fil-A. A lot of people, Chick-fil-A is they're a Christian company. And because of that, where they stand on marriage equality and pro-life. The funny thing is, though, people are like, I still like my chicken sandwich. Oh, yeah, I like a chicken sandwich. Chicken sandwich is nice. Chewy. I'm like, I didn't even know Chewy was political. But they get sucked into it, right? That's the problem. None of these companies want to be political. Your money is good. If you're a Republican and you want to buy a Patagonia, jacket because you think, oh, I'm going to go hunting and it's going to get below zero at night and they've got the best stuff. It's nuts that you should think, oh, we shouldn't do this. That's I could never do that. Like, I purchase whatever it is that I want to purchase, not based on politics. I don't know who made my thing. Right? I mean, I don't, it's like I got a shirt on from Nike right now. It's a golf shirt. Nike, I don't care. So many people do. Moderna, number 3. SpaceX. Tesla. Oh, he appears a lot. You go down. In-N-Out Burgers, number 17. We're just talking about this. At some point, though, your product, I've always said the product at the end of the day matters the most. If your product's good, you offer a great product, a product that people really can't find elsewhere, that is heads and toes above the other products. That product's going to win out at the end of the day. Last year, California, if you guys have if you've never been to In-N-Out Burger, if you go to In-N-Out Burger and you're drinking your drink and you hold your drink up and you look underneath, you know what you find? A Bible verse. Yes. Very strong Christian beliefs. They gave money to candidates that were pro-life and candidates that believe in traditional marriage. And a couple people that were in the California legislature tried to have them canceled. Oh, we're done. Let's boycott them. Never happened. People were like, nope, sorry, not going to do it. Love it. Because it's the product itself. But then you're getting to the point now, it's like, we were talking about this the other day, when it comes to the sporting events, right? Well, Georgia, we're going to move the All-Star game because you guys changed you made the voting laws now so hard and so tough that people will never be able to vote. And it's ridiculous. And that's the way they punish. But then Texas did the same thing, and Florida and some other, and it's not like they're making it any tougher. I mean, here in Arizona, the updated voting laws essentially is if you haven't voted in 4 years, they ask you, are you alive? Have you moved? Do you still want to be on the voting roll? And if you answer yes to I'm alive and I still want to be on it, then they continue to send you a ballot. If they get no response, they're like, well, either the person moved or they're dead. And people are like, well, we need to come after them. You're running out of places. And the thing that frustrates me is and I've talked about this on numerous occasions is so many times the people that are out there that you think matter, people on the internet, they don't consume your product. They're never going to buy your product. You should be worried when people who have your product start bringing that product back and saying, based on this, not what the interwebs do, but that's what they're worried about. They're worried about a world that really doesn't exist and what people who don't use their products care about. So let's look at the bottom group. Twitter, 93. TikTok, 94. Wells Fargo. Sears Holding. What did Sears do? Are they political? Are they even around? Wish.com, Facebook, Fox Corporation, and Trump Organization. The reality with Trump is the minute he got into politics, it's one of the reasons, you see somebody like Oprah, right? You see somebody like Oprah. Oprah is on the left. She has crafted an image. She has built an empire. And everybody says she should run for president. She built that empire the same way Michael Jordan did. Even Republicans buy sneakers. Even conservatives watch Oprah. If you get to the point where you have to choose a side and you alienate, that's going to hurt your brand. Most politicians don't have brands. People like Oprah do. Even stars now are realizing, I've got a brand, I got to protect my brand, but then they take a political stance and then they find out that people aren't thrilled by it. Well, that's your brand now. Politicians have already taken, they start with, I'm starting on this side. If you build up a brand and then you choose a side, you're going to alienate. And when you alienate, you lose money. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. 323-538-2423. Raycon, best earbuds around. I've got my E55s. I have my E25s. The everyday E25s are awesome. 6 hours of talk time, seamless Bluetooth pairing, better sound quality, better bass, better design. The noise isolating fit, the way it fits in your ear is so incredible that it is truly how you should be listening to sound. And that's what I love about Raycons. On top of that, it's a price point that's amazing. Right now, these are under $70. The E55s, right? So you get these E55s, 6 hours of talk time. The case that comes in, it's a charging case. Oh, wow. Noise isolating fit, all of these things. You have 36 hours charge on that. It's incredible what they do. It's free shipping, 45-day money-back guarantee, and they start at $100. That's as high as it goes. You're going to save more, too. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad. Save an extra 15% for the best earbuds around. No wires, no stems, none of that stuff. Great fit, better sound quality, great price. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Don't let the Washington Beltway strangle you. This is where the exhausted majority comes to refuel, realign, and reevaluate. This is Chad Benson.
HBO Max is out with a very brief first look at the Friends reunion special. As a slower, reimagined version of the Friends theme song plays, the 6 stars walk onto the Warner Brothers lot arm in arm. The title of the show revealed to be the one where they get back together. And we've learned there will be special guests, including Justin Bieber, Lady Gaga, and Nobel Prize winner Malala Yousafzai. The special will hit HBO Max May 27th.
Special guest. Look at that. Friends is back. I've watched Friends. Again, I'm a weird cat. I get it. I understand. I'm an odd bird. It was funny. You know, it's funny. I'll watch it and go, I like that show. And I'm trying to think of the shows that I've watched kind of all the way through. Because even now, I'll get into something. I'll like a season or so of it. Then I'm like, I really like that show. And then I really like that show. And then it's like, I haven't seen it in 2 years. But Friends is back, and why not? Money's too good to turn down. You know, they made them an offer they could not refuse. Plus, they probably enjoy it. They've gotten to the point now where, because I think you have to detach yourself in a situation like that, right? Where you become, you're known for a singular thing. As an actor, musicians, and then that thing, you want to get as far away from it as possible. I don't want to do it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to play it on stage. I want no part of any of that stuff. Then as time goes by, you appreciate it a little bit more. You appreciate, oh yeah, you know what? That's okay. And you see that like with people, like the Star Trek people. They realized, you know what? This gave us a lot. It did. It's, you know, for a lot of people, they're obsessed with it. And those people, they drove them crazy. But at the same time, they finally learned to embrace it. Same thing like horror actors. Like Jamie Lee Curtis, she talks about it. That's why she's in the other Halloween movies. She goes, you know, for all the stuff that I've done, at the end of the day, this is what I'm known for in so many ways. And, you know, after being far away from it, it's okay to embrace it. I think it's kind of cool. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Target announced yesterday they're not selling trading cards anymore. Our executive producer here on our local show, he's a trading card guy. He gets up and goes to Targets and goes to Walmart's. Now, Walmart is Walmart. It's a free-for-all. They don't care. Come fight each other. They're fine with that. Target was only letting you have one of the trading cards and one packs. You had to show your ID, and then you couldn't get anything for 24 hours. People are obsessed.
It's common to have 50-plus people standing in line all day, 6 to 8 hours, waiting to see if they can get one box of cards.
Yeah. He would get there. He'd have me. So I get up so early. He'd have me say, Chad, give me a call. So you wake me up so I can go and stand in line. And you get there and he goes, I'm never the first one there. I'll get there at 3 a.m. And people have been there since the night before because they want those cards. And the reason is pretty simple. He would take these things, he'd buy them for $50, and he'd flip them for $150 within a few hours.
The big majority of it, they're doing it for return on investment. So that's the gambling part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. He never even opened them. And he'd buy stuff like Pokemon cards. He goes, oh, man, I'll buy Pokemon cards. They don't care if I buy a few of them, and I'll flip them. Never even open them.
So it's almost like the golden ticket Willy Wonka theory. You put certain cards that are really tough to get, and there's big value. They're hard to get, but you might get it.
Yeah, but he never even knows. He goes, I don't know. I could have sold $1 million card. Wouldn't know because I just flip them really quick. But Target said, we're not doing this anymore because people are fighting. People are insane. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The mask! Take it off. Take it off. Take it off. Take it off. You know what we should do, Phil? We should do a Girls Gone Wild video with a mask. For those of you who are a little younger and do not know what that is, you could Google it, but it's not safe for work. Let's just say there was a guy who got girls to show them their bits. The mask, kids. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been waiting for it. Take it off. Take it off.
This was a wise decision by the CDC to put out the science, which shows that the vaccines, as we've talked about endlessly, keep you out of the hospital, away from people like me, but they also are great at stopping transmission. Dr. Walensky enumerated many studies that show where the data exists for Pfizer and Moderna, for example. Those are the vaccines that have been studied the most on this issue of transmission. Gosh, 80 to 90% reduction in transmission rates, meaning you're vaccinated, you can't unwittingly pass on the virus to others who are not vaccinated.
Take it off. Yeah, it's good. Time to take it off. It's time to get rid of it. It's time to essentially toss it aside. If you're vaccinated, you shouldn't be wearing a mask. Hell, if you're vaccinated and you've had it, you should definitely doubly be wearing a mask. But Dr. and CDC Director Rochelle Walensky, she said, all right, we're done. This is it. Let's go. Let's get going. But it's the CDC. Let's be real. Would I be surprised if 3 weeks from now, 3 hours from now, they flipped? No, I would not. But at this moment in time, it's a mask-free world.
CDC is updating our guidance for fully vaccinated people. Anyone who is fully vaccinated can participate in indoor and outdoor activities, large or small, without wearing a mask or physical distancing. If you are fully vaccinated, you can start doing the things that you had stopped doing because of the pandemic.
Translation, if you're going to do a concert tour, today's the day you announce it and you open up tomorrow night because you never know how long this is going to last. Take advantage of it. Because God only knows what's going to happen. And that's I've talked to a few people that are so excited about it, but they're waiting for the trick. When does the rug get pulled out from underneath us? When do they come and say, because where I'm located, they decided to keep everything in place. as if this wasn't announced. My frustration, like a lot of people, no matter where it is, like, okay, so how does this work? I mean, honestly, it's like if we're supposed to listen to them, then they are full of crap, and then we don't listen to them, and you know, it's just I don't know, because they've not been very steady. They've been all over the place, and I think they did this because the New York Times and several prominent doctors, virologists, epidemiologists, scientists absolutely tore them apart in a New York Times article just a few days ago. And I think they thought, well, we got no choice now, right? You know, I mean, the camp thing. Remember this? This is the thing that's crazy. Was it not just a week ago we were talking about Fauci's like, well, if you're going to go to camp, get out there, but wear a mask. Vaccinated people should wear a mask also, even around. It got to the point where we're sitting here laughing at stuff like this. Even people that you would think are definitely, I don't want to say they're pro-pandemic, but they're pro-overdoing it during the pandemic. We're looking at Fauci and them and said, some of the stuff you guys are saying is ridiculous. Well, it's a little conservative. It's a little conservative. It's a lot conservative. It's nuts. It's time to get on to getting out.
We have all longed for this moment when we can get back to some sense of normalcy. Based on the continuing downward trajectory of cases, the scientific data on the performance of our vaccines, and our understanding of how the virus spreads, that moment has come for those who are fully vaccinated.
There you go. I'm vaccinated. I was doing stuff anyway. It's not like I do a lot. I don't really do anything, but it's good news. It's good news. This is a good thing. And why I think it's a really good thing is even if they flip-flop, I think we all know that genie's out of the bottle. Even if they decide to go from point A to point B and then back again, that genie's out of the bottle. You're not getting the genie back in. People aren't staying in their houses forever. We're not going to flatten the curve for the next 18 months. That ship has sailed. We have to learn to live with this thing, through this thing, and around this thing, and most importantly, above this thing. We've got the tools in front of us to do it. And what makes me laugh is yesterday, they're like, Chad, how dare you advocate for kids to get vaccines? And those people who are offering scholarships, Mike DeWine is offering scholarships to people. So if you take your kid in Ohio, he's the governor, and you get a shot, a vaccine for them, they'll be eligible to win a 4-year ride to a school. Also, if you're over 18 and you've gotten your vaccine, even one shot, you're eligible to win $1 million for the next 5 weeks. You're going to do a drawing on a Wednesday because they have a ton of money, which does make you think,
On May 26th, we will announce a winner of a separate drawing for adults who have received at least their first dose of the vaccine. This announcement will occur each Wednesday for 5 weeks, and the winner each Wednesday will receive $1 million.
$1 million. So people are like, these are experimental treatments. No, they're not. Yes, they are. mRNA is experimental. It is not experimental. It's been around for a long, long time. By the way, if you know people who have had cancer treatments, maybe you've had cancer, chances are some of those things they've done is because of mRNA. It's not experimental. And Johnson & Johnson is old technology, DNA technology. It's not experimental because we've not used it for this. By the way, anything we would have used, including the old technology, DNA, people are like, this is experimental. This wasn't hard to crack. The harder thing was getting through the red tape, which still didn't take as long as it normally would. But it's crazy because nobody will do research. Nobody will look at anything realistically. But you're not for vaccinating kids. I get my kids vaccinated. I don't give them 15 shots at once. I get my kids vaccinated, though. Of course. Even if Jack wanted to get vaccinated, according to all the literature I've been reading, 12 to 15 can get vaccinated, and they're working on 2 to 9, but 10 and 11-year-olds are out in the cold. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. It's over. It's over. She is taking over Liz Cheney's spots. She is a winner. Congratulations.
I want to congratulate Elise Stefanik and welcome her to the leadership team.
Kevin McCarthy, douche canoe. That's not very nice, Chad. He's an idiot. The more I talk to politicians, the more I don't have politicians on my show. People say, why do you ever have politicians on your show? They got nothing to offer me. I don't want to hear them, they don't. They're coming on to basically gripe and moan about the other side. And there's nothing about it. And I thought what they did to Liz Cheney, I thought it was a bunch of crap. Liz Cheney, she said, I may run for president. Here's the thing. It's a long way to go. People in Wyoming are actually, I'm surprised how much they're backing her. But they got Stefanik. And this goes back to the thing I continue to ask people. Is this about how you govern the things you vote for and stand for, or is this about Trump? Elise Stefanik.
I want to thank President Trump for his support.
Not the president.
He is a critical part of our Republican team.
Yeah. No, that right there says everything. Zero to do with your voting record and how you saw your job and pushing through the ideals of the Republican Party, and all to do with Trump.
I support President Trump. Voters support President Trump. He is an important voice in our Republican Party, and we look forward to working with him.
He's not the president. He's the former president. But you knew that. But that's why you're there, because your voting record went against Trump on some of the biggest issues, while Liz was with Trump. It's never about the way he governed as far as the policies. It was more about the personality that cost him. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Rough Greens. Give it to my dog. Give it to my dog. Give it to all my dogs. In fact, I think at the station there's about 10 people now that have their dogs on Rough Greens. And Pablo, our technical producer in the other show I do here, his dog's a bit older. He gives him Rough Greens, and he's like, "Man, dude, I guess first I thought I'll try it. I'll make Chad laugh." I gave him a little bag, and he's just like, now I'm like, I had no idea he ordered it. He said, "Dude, that thing's changed my dog plays fetch now. The dog's like 10, 11 years old. It's a bigger dog. His hips were hurting him. It doesn't bother." I said, Rough Greens is great. Canine VitaSmart from Rough Greens has vitamins, minerals, probiotics, and everything in between. You sprinkle it on top of your dog's food. It brings your dog's food to life. It helps with joint pain, arthritis, any kind of digestive issues. Their coats. My dog, Doodle, his coat is so shiny, it is amazing. Right now, they want you to try it before you buy it. It's simple and easy, nothing crazy. You pay for the shipping. They're going to send it to you for free. That's simple. I don't know what else you can do outside of saying, why don't you just drive it over to my house and give it to my dog? I mean, that's how easy they're making this. Go to roughgreens.com/Chad, ruffgreens.com/Chad. Call 833-MY-DOG-77, 833-MY-DOG-77. It's your free bag of Rough Greens. Try it before you buy it. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
Deep states? No. Deep doo-doo? Yeah. The Chad Benson Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Now it's time to find out
what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending?
Let us take a peek and find out the things that are trending. Mrs. Stefaniak is trending because she is now third in command of the Republican Party. Fourth, if you count Trump, who she refers to only as the president. Yeah, absolutely. What else? Bill Maher, trending. He is apparently positive with COVID. He said, hey, thanks to all wishing me well. Hard to do so. I feel perfectly fine, but I appreciate it. 1993. He's never missed politically incorrect or a real-time episode. He jokes about the fact that he calls himself, are you ready? Cal Ripken. For those who know who Cal Ripken is, he's a baseball player who pretty much started one day and then never stopped. Head on over to Google Trends, find out what's trending in things that aren't politics. Nicki Minaj is trending. Beam Me Up Scotty mixtape. You can grab that from Nicki. No masking. CDC trended big time yesterday because, well, they said if you've been vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask anymore. Indoors, outdoors, doesn't matter. Don't have to wear a mask. Get on with your life. Get on with your life, which I think is great. Friends Reunion is trending as well. I don't know if I'll watch that. You know what? If it's on and I can't reach the changer, I may watch it. I may try and watch it. But that's going to be tough. Because if you tell me to watch something, I'm probably never going to watch it. And this is crazy. So Vice News has Larry Flint's FBI file. And if you think, I wonder if that's crazy. If you don't know who Larry Flint was, a guy who, of course, he's retired like this at the end of his life. But for a while, he was shot, and he went to the Supreme Court, and he did a lot of stuff. And he's a bit of a character. It's a pretty good Larry Flint, by the way. 322-page file. From John DeLorean's cocaine bust to an effort by Flint to blow himself up in front of the Supreme Court and all the other stuff that he tried to do. Of course, he ran Hustler, and he would say, he goes, look, I'm a pet I go out there, and all the smut you can find, I peddle that stuff. That's what I did. 1996, The People versus Larry Flint. Woody Harrelson portrayed him about all the things that he went through. And it really, in a weird way, like they said, it softened him as far as to what people look like. I mean, look towards him. But he joked about the fact that the Washington Post called him dirtbag journalism. He would go out and he would offer huge money. He even offered $10 million to anybody who could help get Donald Trump impeached. He was a character, but that thing is huge. Some of the stuff that that he's accused of or they worried about, my goodness me. He was a character for sure. It's the beauty of the world we live in. Characters like that. We live in a world where there's nut jobs, characters. Sometimes they're one and the same. Hell, we got that now. I mean, I love Elon Musk, but let's not pretend. He's a character. He's a character. And a bit of a nut job. Sometimes you fly a little close to that flame. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. It's your Twitter. The fraudit still going on in Arizona. It's not the fraudit, Chad. It's a genuine audit. People are doing serious stuff there. Okay, you listen to this and tell me. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I got vaccinated. Free fries when you get vaccinated. You're saying I could get this, these delicious fries, but there's also a burger element to this. Is it too early in the day to eat a burger? No. This could be breakfast? Okay. I want you to look at this and think about, again, some people love hamburgers, some don't. Really want to respect all ways of life. But if this is appealing to you, just think of this when you think of vaccination. Vaccination. I'm getting a very good feeling about vaccination right this moment.
I think we can all admit that Mayor de Blasio is just a buffoon. So, does that work for anybody? I'm always like, Ohio's trying to give away $1 million. They're using their vaccine money all over the place. Everybody's trying something new. So giving away $1 million every Wednesday. If you've been vaccinated and you're over 18, and if you're under 18 and you get vaccinated, you'll have a shot at winning a 4-year ride every Wednesday to, I think it's in-state, but I'm not quite sure, right? So you want to go to Ohio State? Ohio State. Want to go to Miami of Ohio? You could do that. But it's, I often wonder, like, does that work? That's where we are. So we've got, this is our first world problems. We have so much vaccine. We have so much vaccine that we're now giving people shots at winning $1 million. That's how much vaccine we have. We have so many jobs that we're telling people we're now going to pay you to get a job because people are enjoying not working, I guess. Governor DeWine talks about why. Why did you do this?
Well, there are people who don't want it, and they have every right not to get it. And we're not really talking about them. What we're talking about is people who have just kind of delayed. I mean, we find people who said, yeah, I was always going to get it, but, just didn't get around to it. Or now I can walk in and get it without having to make an appointment. So everybody's kind of in a different place. And so it's the people at the margins that we think that this will maybe push some people over.
So it's the people that are, as I joke about, I call them they're agnostics. They're not atheists. They're not plague enthusiasts. They will get it. And maybe they're thinking, I want to see this thing work for a while. Okay, that's fine. I guess if you want to do, that. But it's just, it does show you. But then there's also the question of, like, how much money did we give away? Way too much, by the way.
Can you use federal dollars in a giveaway like this?
Look, the federal government, we've had our lawyers look at this, and the federal government supplied this money so we can fight COVID. That's all we're doing with this. We're trying to get more people vaccinated. We think we will get more people vaccinated. That is fighting COVID. It is the best weapon we have today. It's coming down to the vaccine at this point.
We gave out too much money. We did. We gave out too much money. But we knew that. People talked about that. How much? Think about this for a second. California had a $54 billion deficit. They were screwed. They now have $75 billion through federal money. But he talks about Gavin Newsom, thriving stock market and tax revenues. No. We handed out money, and these companies are trying to figure out how in God's name they can spend this money. How are we going to spend all of this money? It's nuts. It truly is. So that's what they're doing for it. So if you live in Ohio, run, take your chance, win yourself $1 million. I got zero problems with that. I think that's totally. But I do find it hilarious that we have so much money that we still didn't even spend it. Almost that first, then we had $1 trillion before we passed the last one before Trump left office. And then this next one was God knows how much at the end of the day this thing's really going to cost us. And some people want another one, but it's just not going to happen. You're not going to get another stimulus. You're not going to get more money thrown out there. At this point in time, there are real worries about inflation that people are starting to pay attention to. And this stuff is, the amount of money that's out there, they don't even know what to do with. I talk to politicians. Rarely do I have them on, but because off the air, they're far more engaging and they're far more open and honest. But I've talked to a couple people that work within the governor's office here, and he's like, he didn't even know what to do with all the money. I mean, they're just, it's a windfall for the states. I mean, think about it. All that, you're sitting there and you're like, I don't know how we're going to do. And all of a sudden, all this cash pours in, but it's government. And so when you have government cash, you do what? You use it or lose it. So they're going to find everything. Like, now's the time, if you've ever thought, I need to apply for a government grant, now's the time. A federal grant, a local, a state grant, now's the time because they've got it and they want to spend it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Tweet at us. Elaine Stefanak is now the third in charge. She has replaced Liz Cheney because, as we all know, Liz Cheney spoke up and thought, hey, this election was fair. You didn't win it. The stuff that you continue to say about it is a bunch of baloney. You were a part of the issue on January 6th. I can debate that a little bit. The rhetoric leading up to it was a little bit much. His cronies and his grifters that hung around him were just as guilty. At the end of the day, though, your actions are your own actions. But she is a Trump believer. Now, she didn't vote that way, but it doesn't matter how you vote. All that matters is, in public, do you support me?
We are unified, and I look to the voters across America. Republican voters are unified in their support and their desire to work with President Trump, and we are unified as Republicans. Yeah, they're unified as Republicans to work with President Trump. President Trump is not the president. So I want you guys to know that. Right now, it is President Biden. Could President Trump, the former president, come back and reclaim president? It's a possibility. It is. So what's going on now? Well, you have the fraud it, right? The audit/fraud it. That's what we're calling it. They got the cyber ninjas. It's a bunch of cyber ninjas. And they're doing their thing. Here comes the cyber ninjas. The other night, Katie Hobbs, who is the Secretary of State out here, who runs the voting out here, was on The Daily Show. Because The Daily Show, like everyone else, is taking a look at seeing what's going on. Oh, it's because they know that there's nefariousness that took place and they're all going to get called out for it. No, it's because it's become a circus in and in itself. So she was asked about the cyber ninjas.
I know that it's comical to watch what's happening here in Arizona, but I think that it is also important to note that this is really dangerous to our democracy. And you know what? We saw how dangerous the post-election misinformation was. This is a group of people who are clearly partisan. It is headed by a company that has no auditing or election experience, and they're making up the rules as they go along.
So who's running the audit?
Cyber ninjas.
Did you say cyber ninjas?
I did say cyber ninjas.
Is it run by a 12-year-old boy?
It sounds like it, right?
Yeah, cyber ninjas. So John Brakey's one of the guys that runs it. He's from, I think it's Audit USA, believer in Trump. He's one of them. Ken Bennett, who was the original birther when it came to Obama, is kind of the liaison. These are the two people that are doing this along with the cyber ninjas. So these are the people that are in front. For whatever reason, they decided to talk to The Daily Show. And The Daily Show at the end, like I used to enjoy The Daily Show, not so much anymore. I don't really enjoy it anymore. But this was hilarious. I'm telling you guys this. So this is John Brakey, one of the guys running. He's. You tell me if you're a Republican, even if you believe this, that there was stuff that happened that makes you feel uncomfortable. You tell me if this is who you want running it.
This feels like it's just feeding into conspiratorial thinking.
We're mythbusters.
Great.
Okay? We're doing things we think are foolish, but people believe it's real.
We're doing things that are foolish, and people think it's real. What? Yeah, we're doing things that are foolish, and people do think it's real. Case in point, the guy out there, armed to the teeth, protecting this. He's got his Benghazi T-shirt on. Yeah, he's there. Why? Because he knows what's happening. He knows who's coming to storm the castle, if you will.
There has been word that Antifa and BLM may be coming in, so they're trying to be careful and secure the premises.
So he's going to secure the premises. How would they get there? How would they get in?
You guys have probably heard about the carnival that's going on here. There's a little concern about whether or not that would provide those kind of folks an opportunity to come in and try to infiltrate and get access.
So they're going to infiltrate. They're going to get access. They can't, just to let you guys know, you could probably apply for this if you want to. They can't find and hire enough people. They were hoping to have, they'd set up all these tables. They had, the first day they had most of the tables filled. Then they said, well, we need to really push this thing because we've got a limited amount of time, and we'll touch on that in a second, but we really need to get this thing moving. And they tried to hire more people, and they have not been successful. So Antifa and BLM may attack.
So there is some fear that BLM might meet behind a tilt-a-whirl, organize, and then bum rush the situation.
Bad people can do bad things. I'm not going to say what they may try to do.
But the coup de grace of all of this is when you listen to Ken Bennett, again, these and John Bracken, these are the two guys that are kind of like the heads of all of this stuff out here who are really conducting all of this along with cyber ninjas. When you listen to the correspondent from The Daily Show make something up and they go, what? When you listen to him, it is hilarious.
Are you looking into the Hungarian vector?
I didn't know about that one.
The Hungarian vector. It's a bullshit thing I just made up that sounds cool and a little bit spooky.
What's that? Ooh, I haven't heard of that. Yeah. They want it so badly to be true. And that's sad. Because even if you find something real, you've allowed the clowns to run the circus. You've allowed not the master of ceremonies to run the things. Instead, you know, what's the old saying? Not my monkeys, not my circus kind of thing. That's what's ended up happening. And so this is what you got. And then you got things like, hey, you know what? You guys have no idea what we are. You have no idea any of these things. We are.
This feels like it's just feeding into conspiratorial thinking.
We're mythbusters.
Great.
Okay? We're doing things we think are foolish, but people believe it's real.
Well, if they believe it, then it must be so. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson shows your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from all of you. MyPillow. Speaking of conspiracy. Product's great. Look, I do not hide this. And people ask me, why I talk? I love the product. People work there who bust their butt love the product. I do. And that's why. I'll defend that. I'm not canceling people because I disagree with the stuff. And yeah, and I've had my disagreements. But the reality is I love the product. Product's great. Right now, the towels. I've got towels. I carry my towels with me now. I love that. I stayed at a lot of hotels. And as we all know, hotels, those towels aren't always great. No lotiony feel. Super absorbent. Love, love, love them. Normally $110 for a 2-pack set. Right now, under $45. Huge savings. 60-day money-back guarantee, 10-year warranty, tons of colors to choose from. You get the giant towels, then you get those little medium towels, right? Those little hand towels, and then you get the wash rags. Plus, they've got slippers, which are amazing. They've got the MyPillow mattress topper, the MyPillow, the Giza Dream Sheets, all at deep discounts, all with warranties, all with money-back guarantees. Get your MyPillow products right now by going to MyPillow.com. Use the promo code Benson, MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. Save big. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
Running with scissors sounds great compared to this.
Say what?
We're gonna run.
Angelina Jolie returns to the big screen with the survival thriller Those Who Wish Me Dead. That's in theaters and on HBO Max. Barry Jenkins' epic Underground Railroad adaptation premieres on Amazon Prime Video. Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead will hit some 600 Cinemark theaters this weekend, ahead of its Netflix release next week. And also in theaters, Chris Rock stars in Spiral, the latest film that's part of the horror franchise Saw. And happy birthday today to Star Wars and Indiana Jones creator George Lucas. He's 77.
Spiral looks interesting. It's got Samuel L. Jackson in it as well. Army of the Dead looks great. That looks really cool. I was looking last night. I stayed up here, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll go see a movie. And it wasn't playing. It was playing in a few places, but it was much further away from where I was staying. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. But it looks awesome. You've not seen it. It's kind of like the Earth has had their zombie plague, and there's some normal places, and then some places that's just off limits. One of those places is Vegas, but inside of a vault inside of Vegas is like billions of dollars in gold. And Dave Bautista and several others, they get them together, and they're like, you guys get a good cut of this, never work again, but you got to go into a place where it's just filled with nothing but zombies who can kind of think and can move really fast, and zombie animals. Looks awesome. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. He was the favorite to win American Idol. His name was Caleb Kennedy. He's a country singer, and now he's gone.
16-year-old Caleb Kennedy impressed the judges at his American Idol audition.
You got something real special.
And he impressed voters, making it to the top 5. But his run is over. Kennedy has dropped out of the competition after a video surfaced of him online sitting next to someone wearing a KKK hood. Kennedy's family tells the Spartanburg Herald-Journal that the video, a Snapchat, was taken when Caleb was 12, and his friends were imitating characters from the movie The Strangers Pray at Night. Kennedy writes on Instagram he's so sorry he was younger and did not think about the actions, but says that's not an excuse.
Well, I'm going to say, I saw The Strangers Pray at Night, and yeah, it was interesting. If you see the movie, there's a guy that kind of wears a bag on his head. First of all, he's 12. He's not wearing anything. His friend is. He's like, apology. He's 16 now. He's apologizing. I apologize. It's almost like, hey, man, you should get it over when you're young. You're canceling. Because maybe you'll have time to come back. Maybe can you be canceled? Can you be paroled from canceled? Well, that's a good question. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Tweet at us. Maybe Morgan Wallen can give him a call. Chad, now you just put them all together. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
When you said we have all longed for this moment, my heart leapt into my throat. It is such great news after all this time. And at the same time, I am very nervous. It is hard for me to imagine myself waltzing into the Stop and Shop tomorrow morning and not wearing a mask. I just feel like I'm not wired that way anymore. And it still feels risky. So how sure are you?
We're sure. There's an extraordinary amount of evidence now that demonstrates the vaccines are working in the real world. Go get vaccinated.
Hey. You can still wear a mask if you want to, Rachel Maddow. But yes, kids, our long nightmare is kinda over. I say kinda. But the long nightmare of mask is over. It's done. It's time to party.
Therefore, if you've been fully vaccinated, you no longer need to wear a mask. Let me repeat. If you are fully vaccinated, you no longer need to wear a mask.
If you're vaccinated and you're outside, put aside your mask. Put aside your mask. You don't have to wear it.
That's right. Celebrate, because you're, in theory, according to the CDC, now your states may run different, businesses will run different. Some will have already told you didn't have to wear a mask, and you've been doing that. Others are going to still push you to wear a mask. It's their business. We'll go back to this. I use this analogy all the time. If Costco wants you to wear a top hat and tails to get into their store, if you do not have top hat and tails, you will not be getting in. It's pretty simple. Anytime you can start with a little house of pain, there's nothing wrong with that. But you can wear a mask if you want to. Nobody's ever said you can't wear a mask, except at Halloween time, right? Like you'll go to stores and they'll say, look, we ask kindly if you don't wear a mask in here, please, because people might try to rob you. But then, now we're in a different position where we've been wearing masks all the time. And all we've wanted, all we've longed for in this great nightmare is to rid ourselves of these masks. And we have done so. We have done so. Smart move.
This was a wise decision by the CDC to put out the science, which shows that the vaccines, as we've talked about endlessly, keep you out of the hospital, away from people like me, but they also are great at stopping transmission. Dr. Walensky enumerated many studies that show where the data exists for Pfizer and Moderna, for example. Those are the vaccines that have been studied the most on this issue of transmission. Gosh, 80 to 90% reduction in transmission rates, meaning you're vaccinated, you can't unwittingly pass on the virus to others who are not vaccinated.
Yeah, so there you go. There you go. Dr. Gupta, laying it out there. You've been vaccinated, get on to getting on. If you've been getting on to getting on, according to many people, you should probably have already died, but you haven't, so that means you're still getting on to getting on. It's time to go and live our lives. It's time to start working. It's time to start working because for whatever reason, people have decided that this whole work thing just is silly. Why would I? Let's talk. So we have in my local show, we have a new producer. Her name's Mandy. I was talking to her yesterday. She had a pretty big show. She was in Minneapolis, part of a pretty big morning show there when this thing hit. And it really did a number on many stations across the country. They were just firing people left, right, and center, laying them off, whatever you want to call it. But it was due to COVID, and they gave her a little severance. And we were talking about this yesterday. She goes, Chad, she goes, I'm living out here. She goes, I was getting unemployment from Minnesota. She goes, and that was almost $600 a week on top of the federal money that had just kicked in. She goes, I was making more money on unemployment than I was doing the morning show, salary-wise outside of my endorsements. And she took a job here with us that didn't pay as much. And she goes, because I don't know how not to work. And I need to be a contributing member to society. And the fact that people are not looking for gigs the way that they should be is truly, it's amazing. Doesn't mean you're going to stay there forever. But here's something else. And I told my little brother this the other day. He's going to be 22 this year. I said to him, I said, T, let me tell you something, brother. I said, there's plenty of gigs out there. Some pay okay. Maybe not what you want to do right now at this moment. But I said, I will tell you this. Right now, it's a buyer's market. You can go to an employer, and because they're so happy to have good people coming in, they're going to probably give you a little bit more, but you're also secure there. Because eventually, it's going to flip, and it's going to become a seller's market. The employer will have the upper hand. And then people will get desperate. Better to be there early than to get there later and maybe not get let in at all. And I think more people need to take that. And also the pride thing. I just don't understand. Phil, you've worked in radio a long time. In radio, these jobs are up and down. You know that as well as anybody. Longest you've gone without a gig?
Year and a half.
Now, is that a radio gig?
Yeah, that's a radio gig.
But you worked other places?
Yeah, I was doing other things while I was searching for a gig.
Yeah, see? And some people are. I mean, let's be real. There are a lot of people out there who do side work. There are a lot of people out there, tons of side gigs. I get that. But there's also a ton of people out there who are looking around thinking, this is pretty good. This doesn't hurt. And states are now pulling it back. What states are doing it? Like here yesterday, Governor Ducey says, hey, you know what? That we're cutting you off first week of July, of that extra federal unemployment money. And so you're only going to get the state money. And then people freaked out. But he said, as a caveat to going back to work, we'll give you a $2,000 bonus if you get a full-time job and a $1,000 bonus if you get a part-time job. Well, when you look at the numbers, people are freaking out. It's only a $400 difference from what's left in the amount of weeks in the unemployment that you would get on the federal side and the $2,000 bonus. But they're trying to light a fire. And it's amazing that we have to light a fire to get people to get a job. It is. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. You can text the program. She has taken over for Liz Cheney. She is now the third in charge. And she thanks the President of the United States.
I want to thank President Trump
who's not the president,
for his support. He is a critical part of our Republican team.
That he is. He is right now, he is the lawgiver for them. He is the person that is going to be the one pulling the strings for a while. How long? It could be for several years. It could end next year. How could it end next year? Something happened to him? No. Next year, when midterms come up, if the people he backs win, and the people that he's up against in the Republican Party, he's already said he's going to go after Liz Cheney's seat, and she's already saying, you know what, I may run for president. If she wins and keeps her seat, and other people they put out there, and the rhetoric they have of continuing to push for all of these, these things and how it was stolen and all of this, if that continues to happen and they end up losing seats in the House and the Senate, I think then is when you're going to see a shift. As of now, they're lockstep with him. As of this moment, they're lockstep. Doesn't mean that can't change, because I think a lot of it's going to have to deal with what takes place at the midterms. Normally, when one party controls everything, you get that 2-year run. Then change comes. We as a nation do not like to give one party too much power. We like there to be some way to check the other side. Republicans did better outside of Trump in this last election than people thought, minus what took place in the Senate. And they lost the Senate, even though it's a tie. They lost the Senate because we know the tiebreaker is the vice president. In saying that, you can look at those 2 seats they lost in Georgia as a direct reflection of what took place and the battle that was there and the fraud, and they did this and everything. And, some of his surrogates are saying, don't go out and vote for any of these people, these Republicans. It was a giant, huge. But if they lose more seats in the House and they lose more seats in the Senate, yeah, that will be a real issue that I think the Republicans will have to step back to and say, okay, well, here we are. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. Raycon, best earbuds around. Going to go hit some golf balls. I've got an interview to do, and then I'm going to go hit some golf balls. And I tell you what, I love being out there. Last night I was just chilling and got to my hotel room and just put on my earbuds, was listening to a podcast, and just kind of slowly faded into sleep time. And I didn't even know that my earbuds were in. It didn't bug me, and it was great. E25s, E55s. Well under $100 for the E25s. Every day, E25s. These things are awesome. 6 hours of talk time, seamless Bluetooth pairing, the best sound quality, the best design you're going to find around. And again, I continue to go back to all the great things. You get a 24-hour battery life, so the capsule charges the earbuds. So what happens is you don't have to. So the actual earbud thing that it comes in the case, that's the charger right there. So you charge that thing up, and even if you're not around, you have to plug that thing in. Just put it in your earbuds back in there. As long as it's got a charge, boom. They start under $70, right? That's it. Huge, right? Then you've got the E55s. They're about $100, 6 hours of battery life, 36 hours of battery life with charging case, wireless charging enabled, water resistance, easy to grab lanyard, no stems, no wires. Get yours now. Save big, extra 15%. Simple and easy. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. Takes you right to where you need to go. Then you use the user code Chad15. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
You go, boy.
This isn't about right or left. This is just about right and wrong.
Right you are, Chad. The Chad Benson Show.
Medina Spirit galloped around the Pimlico track like nothing could stop his pursuit of the Triple Crown.
He came out of the Derby in fine shape, and he wasn't a tired horse.
Jimmy Barnes is training Medina Spirit for the Preakness in the absence of trainer Bob Baffert, who has denied giving the horse a banned steroid. If the follow-up tests are clean, Medina Spirit can run the Preakness. If not, he'll be scratched, leaving his stablemate, Concert Tour, the favorite.
Stablemate. It's really interesting, right? Hey, it's a stable where we hang out together. Horse racing's interesting, but he denied he gave it to him, but did say, I did give him something, and it had it in there. And it's called steroid beta methasone. Antifungal med, but has a steroid in it. And sometimes these things are you know that. It's like you'll hear an athlete and you're like, that guy doesn't cheat. That guy's like 8 pounds and he doesn't, and it's like, oh yeah, he drank a drink. You know, he went somewhere and got one of those smoothies. It had 21 picograms, which they're saying is consistent with the application of this time of ointment. So we'll see what happens. But I tell you what, if he's gone, people don't care. If he's there, people watch because, well, he's kind of a cheater, so this could be interesting. Not all the news like that is bad news. I always go back to baseball. Baseball had a strike that cost them the World Series. They were in trouble. And then along came Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, and the long ball. And it changed everything. And we didn't care. Oh, some people do. The integrity of the game. No, we didn't care. I've always said, let them all dope up. I don't care. It's not me. If you really want that kind of edge, what kind of example is it saying? Okay, let them dope up when they're of age to be an adult. I'd rather have them do that and at least know the field is level comparatively. Maybe give extra points to teams who's like, all right, we've taken all of their blood samples, and this is how many picograms they have. This team has this many picograms, way more, so you guys get an extra goal or a 10-point lead. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet, text, love hearing from you. I got a Florida story that is so Florida, number one, and number two, so modern. Such a modern thing. Wait till you hear this. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet and text the show. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The CDC is saying that fully vaccinated people are at a very, very low risk of getting COVID-19. Therefore, if you are fully vaccinated, you no longer need to wear a mask. But if you've not been vaccinated, or if you're getting a 2-shot vaccine and you've not gotten you only had your first shot, but not your second, or you haven't waited the full 2 weeks after your second shot, you still need to wear a mask. Look, we've gotten this far. Please protect yourself until you get to the finish line.
All right, you guys get that? I'm going to break it down for you. You've been vaccinated. Because I speak Biden. People say, are you multilingual? I said, yes. I speak Biden for sure. If you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. If you've gotten one shot of the 2-shot Moderna or Pfizer, you should wait to take your mask off in public places until you've had your second shot and you've gone past that 10-day period to 2-week period until you've achieved essentially the large amount of the antibodies and vaccine that's in there that makes you pretty much 100% impervious to this and giving it. And even if you did get it, the chances of you, again, dying are slim down. Right now, the Yankees have 7 coaches that tested positive, and they're all vaccinated because they're continually doing what? Testing. Even though players and people are getting vaccinated, they're continually testing. It's part of their agreement that they're going through right now. And all but one is asymptomatic, and the other one kind of has the snoozles, if you will. There's not like they're sick. So this is it's not going to stop everything, but they're all asymptomatic. They didn't even know they had it. Bill Maher tonight canceled his show on HBO. He does every Friday night. Why? Because he's got it. He goes, I didn't even know I had it. I don't feel any different. But welcome to, when you get vaccinated, this is what happens. And for a lot of people out there that were asymptomatic even when there was no vaccine. So no mask, except for there are some issues. And he addressed that.
Well, it's definitely a little bit complicated for business. Employers can ask their employees if they've been vaccinated and to show proof.
Which, okay, that's okay. I don't have a problem with that. Here, the people that run the station here, they never asked any of us. And, everybody's been pretty open about whether or not they got vaccinated or not. But I think we're really worried. You're thinking about the customers. That, to me, is the big thing.
Now that we're seeing this guidance lifted, you most likely will see businesses bring employees back sooner than expected. However, businesses with patrons think customers, it's trickier. How do you really know if your customers have been vaccinated? So for hotels, restaurants, retail, it's harder. And you might see a lot of those businesses still hang on to the mandate because they want to protect their frontline workers.
Yeah, some might. Now, I've been to a restaurant twice in the last 18 months or so. Both places, one place, majority of people were masked up. The other place, and I'm just talking about the servers and stuff like that, they were masked up. But my on-air partner on my other show, he and his wife apparently don't have a kitchen. And so they eat out every single night, pretty much. They're always doing something. They're dinks, right? Double income, no kids. Their kids are grown and whatnot. So they're always going out and doing something. And his wife, who I golf with, she's always wanting to go places and do stuff. And he said the other day, and he's like a super hypochondriac. And he said to me the other day, now he's eating indoors because he's been double vaccinated and all these kind of things. And he was just talking about he's like, I don't care if people are wearing masks or don't. He goes, went to a restaurant the other night, nobody had a mask on. Not even the servers. They didn't care. If you've been vaccinated, you probably shouldn't care at this point in time. And that's the whole point of being vaccinated. But how could you tell? But I've always said this. At that point in time, you worry about you. Who cares if somebody's been vaccinated or not if you've been vaccinated? The vaccine should work to the point where it's going to stop you from getting it. You're not hanging out with somebody. Mostly it's in passing. In stores. And on top of all of that, the people that aren't vaccinated and who don't want to wear a mask, they felt that way the entire time, so they really don't care. So let's not pretend anymore. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. It's your Twitter, kids. We live in a world, I'm going to say this, of look at me. That's a good way to say it. Look at me. Look at me. What can I do to be famous? What can I do to get seen? How can I build my presence? This lady in Florida, again, Florida, phenomenal. She decided to do a little something because she wants to build her presence online.
A security scare at a school leads to a woman's arrest. Police saying the 28-year-old impersonated a student. The reason? She allegedly wanted more followers on Instagram.
Yeah. She wanted more followers on Instagram, so she went to a school. And when you see her, she doesn't look 18. She doesn't look 22. She doesn't look 25.
It said that she was carrying a skateboard, a painting.
A 28-year-old woman who had no business roaming the hallways at American Senior High School did so on Monday.
Dressed similar to students to try and blend in.
Audrey Francis Queenie appeared in court Tuesday, nodding her head during part of it.
And she's shaking her head right now. So I don't...
No, ma'am, stop doing that.
That's, by the way, that's her attorney. Keeps telling her, because she's just sitting there, just bopping her head up and down. Yes, yes, yes. And he's like, stop doing that. Stop it.
Oh, sorry. Well, she followed instructions in court. Cops say she broke the law the day before.
First of all, I don't know how you get into the school. They have a guard at the front. You got to show your ID.
But
It's Florida. Let's not forget. So they have a guard in the front. You have to show your ID. It's not hard if you really want to sneak on. Now, if you were trying to come over a fence today, even if you had a guard in front and you saw somebody who had a gun, you might raise that. If you're trying to climb over a fence and you've got a skateboard in your hand, people are like, whatever, it's just a kid late.
But detectives say she did get into this school by pretending to be a student and passing security, all because she wanted more followers on social media.
How desperate are you? I'm curious, like, how desperate do you have to be? We talk about it. We have social media. We have Facebook, and we have... I don't try anymore at Twitter. I did for a while. And at this point, and the reason is because I don't need... It's not real. It's a fun way to interact once in a great while, but most of the time people are angry and they're pissed off. And Instagram, it's fun because you can post a meme or two, but that's less volatile. Facebook is all over the place. And it's just, you sit there and you think, people are running at these things. It's like, I want this. Look at me. I want this. I'm special. Look at me. She's 28 years old, and her thought process is to grow my profile, to grow my stature in the influencer sphere. I need to go where those people are. And wait till you hear how she decided to grow that.
It says it here. She's trying to get people to follow her on Instagram.
The arrest report states the student impersonator recorded herself handing out flyers at the school that promoted her Instagram page.
Wait. She's handing out flyers. At a school to get people to follow her online. Kind of old school.
That promoted her Instagram page.
She was like, I think, recording some stuff in there, like some crazy stuff, and she had like the devil's mask and everything.
The student was referring to a mask she featured online.
It's crazy. It's creepy.
Frances Queenie managed to escape school security that day.
I legit have, I don't know how many cops outside right now of my house.
So she's filming that because they stormed her castle, if you will. And they came in a large way.
But that night, detectives tracked her down, paying her a visit at her North Miami Beach home. She posted this video as an Instagram story.
And I'm not going outside.
She ended up in cuffs and in court. The judge ordered her to stay away from the school. Her charges include trespassing and interfering with a school.
Ma'am, your lawyer wants to speak to you.
Now, this is funny. So, cops come, they take her in. He's the entire time he's just telling her, stop shaking your head, stop doing this, stop that. Just, and she bailed herself. She bailed herself out. So let's recap this. She's 28. She goes to school. She wants to raise her profile on Instagram. She hands out flyers with all of her details, thinking she's not going to get caught. So automatically, oh my God, the gig's up. This is what her attorney has to say.
Yes, sir.
If someone shows a camera in your face, let's don't talk about this.
School.
Just let you know that. If somebody puts a camera in your face, don't talk about this.
School officials say they're investigating how it happened. Meantime, Audrey bonded out of jail overnight.
There she goes. So she's free. Go check out her Instagram. I don't know what it is. They didn't put it up. That's smart. So smart. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. You can. I don't mind you tweet. And again, I try to. There's the thing. The other day I posted something just for a laugh. And some producer Phil sent me early in the morning. It was Anthony, one of the two. And it was funny. I put it out there. And watching people who've never met, who don't even follow me because it got retweeted like 1,000 times or something. And then people start fighting over stuff. That to me, I just don't. You're never changing somebody's mind through a tweet or an argument on the internet. You're not. You're not. You're just going to get riled up and frustrated, and so are they. And then you're going to say something stupid in a world that's not real. Yet people are willing to go to great lengths to try to improve their stature in a world like that. 323-538-2423. Text. Try to text everybody back as best that I can. I do. So you can always text the program, and you'll get me. You're not anybody else. There's not going to be any of the other producers. It comes directly to me. Me. Omaha Steaks. Omaha Steaks. Summer is here. It's going to be beautiful this weekend. Here it's going to be warm, but it makes for perfect nights. And Omaha Steaks has something delicious. Let's Go Grill Package. It's incredible. So what's in the Let's Go Grill Package, you say? Well, first of all, the Let's Go Grill Package has fillets. Delicious. Oh, my goodness. So delicious. They have chicken breast. Amazing. Pork chops, which became my favorite. My absolute favorite. Oh, yeah. Oh, the way we prepared them was amazing. On top of that, they've got kielbasa, and they threw in 5 pounds, 12 burgers that are amazing. Steak burgers are incredible. Plus, apple tartlets, potatoes, seasoning, and a book to help you grill. The Let's Go Grill package is also going to give you $20 off. So you get all of that, plus almost another $70 in value free on top of that with the steak burgers they throw in, and they're going to give you $20 off when you check out. You go to omahasteaks.com. Look for yourself at all the amazing things. At the top, you type in Chad. There's a search bar. You type that in. Boom. Up comes these deals. You get all of those amazing meats and $20 off, plus an extra 12 steak burgers free. That's a $44 value right there. You will not be disappointed. They're amazing. You're going to love it. Let's Go Grill package. omahasteak.com, keyword Chad. omahasteak.com, keyword Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Don't make me wear your mask. Are you trying to kill me? What happens if you have corona?
No need to socially distance while listening to your Chad Benson Show podcast. 4 out of 5 experts say so.
I'm a scientist. There is no corona.
But hurry before they change their mind. You know they will. Chad's podcast found on iTunes, iHeart, Spotify, and wherever you find your favorite COVID-free podcasts.
Oh my gosh. I kind of like it. I'm not going to lie.
This is the Chad Benson Show.
Because of the pain or suffering that perhaps my father or my parents had suffered, I'm going to make sure that I break that cycle so that I don't pass it on, basically. There's a lot of genetic pain and suffering that gets passed on anyway.
Yeah, and
we as parents, we should be doing the most that we can to try and say, you know what, that happened to me. I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen to you.
Yeah. The podcast. Harry's got a podcast. It's not a podcast talking about stuff. Prince, because of my father and all the suffering that my parents have gone through, and it's like your mom had some issues and the media did not help and eventually led to her untimely death. Your father, the issues he has, the only issues he's known. That's it. It's not like he had a weekend away where he's like, I'm going to go live like a regular person somewhere. It just didn't happen. It isn't. But he wanted, I don't think he enjoyed, I think she's got a lot more to do with it. That people realize. I think people are starting to realize that. Like, who's it? Piers Morgan ever got mad at? They're like, you're the worst. How dare you say anything against Meghan? Prince Harry.
For me, it comes down to awareness. Like, I never saw it. I never knew about it. And then suddenly I started to piece it all together and go, okay, so this is where he went to school. This is what happened. I know this bit about his life. I also know that's connected to his parents.
Yeah.
So that means that he's treating me the way that he was treated.
Exactly.
Which means, how can I change that for my own kids? And, well, here I am.
Here you are. You're changing it because your kids are going to live a totally normal life. You're going to change your name. You're going to go to the witness protection program. You're going to work at a gas station. Your wife's going to be a theater teacher for kindergartners and a part-time librarian. And that's how that's going to work.
In my early 20s, I was a case of, like, I don't want this job. Yeah. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be doing this. Look what it did to my mum. How am I ever going to settle down and have a wife and a family when I know that it's going to happen again?
Yeah. So that's why they were here, I guess. Didn't think they were going to be here, but they did. She wanted to come here. She didn't want to be there. She wanted to get away from all of that. She's got far more control. Over there, none of them had control. Over here, they do have more control.
And, well, here I am. I've now moved my whole family to the U.S. Well, that wasn't the plan. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But sometimes you've got to make decisions and put your family first and put your mental health first.
Very true. That's 100% right. You just didn't know anything different, though. That's the thing. I don't think anybody feels sorry for him. I wouldn't want that gig. I'll tell you that right now. I wouldn't. But if you only grew up in it, it's like the dictator's kids, right? They all end up being awful and evil. That's all they've ever known. They don't know anything else. not like you're getting a real perspective. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Have a great, wonderful weekend. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. We'll do it again on Monday. Night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.